said it before, and I think I said it on your show, and I'm saying it again. Nigeria does not have a president. No matter the anger you felt at what happened in 2023, this is the time to bring that anger and put it together and say never again. Never again would our votes be rigged. Never again will the mandate of the people not matter. Never again will we sit down for a few to do whatever it is that they want to. This time, we're going to put in the effort. We're going to ensure that we have a win. We're going to ensure that when we vote, we stand there and we ensure that our votes are counted. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. They rigged us in 2023. Shame on them. If they rig us again in 2027, it will be shame on us.
Yes, Aisha Yesufu has released another bombshell saying Nigeria has no president. I mean, she granted this interview telling Nigerians to get ready because 2027 is not going to be like 2023 election, and saying Nigeria has no president at the moment. Look.
Welcome to Nigeria Voice TV. This is a platform where we give voice to the unheard. I want us to vet this video properly. Let me bring you up to speed and fill you in. Human rights activist Aisha Yesufu has come out in public to grant an interview, and she repeated it. She have always been saying it, that Nigeria doesn't have a president. But this time around, she's saying it with her full chest, that she told us that Nigeria does not have a president. And now, we have seen first tenure of this administration failed woefully. Insecurity is zero, education is zero. Now, a lot of, even the economy is not working. Aisha Yesufu came up to say that 2027 general election, we should make sure that our vote counts. We all know Aisha Yesufu. She has been fighting for humanitarian. She speaks for the voiceless. I'm going to leave you to watch this full video, how she narrated everything that transpired, how this administration failed Nigeria woefully, financially, economically, security, even the all sector. What she said on this video has nothing to do with the management of Nigeria Voice TV, but her own personal political opinion and analysis. But I'm going to leave you to watch the full video. Drop your thought on the comment section. Let us engage. Our own is to react on trending issues. Our own is to give voice to the unheard. Our own is to escalate the debate. What mainstream media cannot report is what Nigeria Voice TV is reporting and televising for the whole world and general populace to know what is happening in Nigeria. Nigeria has so many corrupt politicians, and they are trying to silence the voice of the voiceless. But the truth of the matter is that we are not going to allow them. Aisha Yesufu went further to say 2023 election was actually rigged, but 2027 election, we all should take into cognizance and be mindful when voting. Watch the full video, how she narrated everything. We are not trying to bring any administration down. Neither are we trying to promote violence. No. But the truth of the matter is that President Tinubu government have not favored Nigerians. Should we talk about the tax? Now they have imposed tax, saying that if we did not pay tax, the government is going to take the tax themselves from our various accounts. Nigerians are not happy with this. This did not go well with a lot of Nigerians. But let me leave you to watch the full video, how Aisha Yesufu analyze and, voice out. This is our own personal political opinion and analysis. Watch the full video. Drop your thought on the comment section. Let us engage. Nigeria Voice TV, our own is to react on trending issues. Our own is to give voice to the unheard. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Stay with us for latest updates. Click the notification button so that when we react on new content, you will be aware.
Welcome to Nigeria Voice Television, where we give voice to the unheard.
Crimes unabated and they are not being held accountable. Aisha Yesufu also in this interview, told Nigerians as to why her support for Peter Obi is unending. She went ahead to describe Peter Obi's virtues and what makes Peter Obi very, very exceptional, very different from a typical Nigerian politicians. And, and she's calling on Nigerians to stand up and make sure that this forthcoming election that we show these APC people bombshell, because they believe by coercing other governors to join the APC. Recently, reports said even in Enugu, they are forcing teachers. The Enugu state government, I mean Governor Mba's government, is forcing teachers to register under the APC. It's a must. If you don't register, you are going to face the consequences. So they want to coerce people to join the APC by fire, by force, so that they can take over 2027. Nigerians, you have to stand up. You have to stand up. Your country is sleeping. See what terrorists are doing. They are almost taking over the south. Tinubu has no say. Tinubu cannot say anything. He is scared if they will not vote for 2027. So he's ready to trade the lives of people for his own political interests. And that is why you guys must stand up. Nigerians, stand up. It's as if we don't even have a government in place. Now, if you go to the social media, go and see the video where that Boko Haram released, where they entered the air base of Nigerian military. I mean, not the air base, their base, of the Nigerian military. They were doing whatever they were doing as if nobody can confront them. So guys, this country is sinking. Have you even heard that the Tinubu's government is saying Nigerians should start declaring their taxes from March? I mean, they don't even want it to get to 1 year, meaning that the income you got last year, they want you to start declaring it now. Ask me what Tinubu is doing with the money. We don't know, because there is no security. A lady just died because snake bit her and there was no anti-venom to treat her. Ask me what they are using the taxes for. Now, Wike was seen distributing buses in Rivers State. He was distributing buses for Tinubu's campaign, while guess what? Teachers are not being paid in Abuja. Aisha Yesufu sent a very strong message which you and I cannot ignore. Take your time, watch these videos, and let me know your honest reaction in the comment section. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification for more. Thank you.
I said it before, and I think I said it on your show, and I'm saying it again. Nigeria does not have a president. So I don't know whose presidency you are discussing. But anyway, sure. Go ahead.
But your party now is going to be contesting against. So if you don't believe there is a president, so why are you contesting? There's no vacuum in the House of Villa.
My party. I said I. I'm not here representing my party. I'm not speaking for my party as I am. I'm a member, an active member of the African Democratic Congress. I'm not speaking for the party. I'm speaking for Aisha Yesufu. And I'm telling you that. As Aisha Yesufu, when I come to speak for the party, it's going to be a different thing. And this is why I tell people, it took me a long time, and it took me putting the nation ahead of whatever it is that I think or need to actually say, okay, let me join a political party. Because one of the freedom of being on your own is the capacity to be able to speak the way you want, how you want, and take certain actions the way you want. Like on a normal day, I don't stand. You understand? Since they change our national anthem to a Tinubu anthem, I don't stand for it. I don't do it as a person. But of course, as a member of ADC, when ADC says something, and I'm sort of like representing the party, I can no longer make that decision not to. So even if I stand, it will not be an Aisha Yesufu standing. It will be the party, an Aisha Yesufu who is representing the party. But as I am here today, I am here as Aisha Yesufu. I'm not here representing the party. So when I come representing the party, you rephrase that question and we'll have a different conversation.
So how would you like to represent your position about the leadership of this country?
I mean, for me, I think in the ways that I've seen it, there's no leadership. Nigeria and Nigerians have seen it in so many ways where everything is all over the place, everything is scattered. And that's not the way leadership is supposed to be, right? And I ask you, for example, if you look at him, Mr. Tinubu, who says he's the president of Nigeria.
Who is the president of Nigeria? Aisha
says, who says he's the president of Nigeria. Let's not do that. I know the last time we're doing this back and forth. This is Aisha speaking. When it's your turn to speak, she will say it the way they say. How have Nigerians seen him? How much time has he spent in this sole country that he's supposed to be leading? What are the policies that he has put out in this country that is for the country, and not just, the way people would say it from a selfish point of view. Leadership is not just you coming in to take over something. The last time there was an analogy I used for you. I say, if someone comes to my house, steals my vehicle, take it away, and then repaints it and decides it's his own, that I should accept it's his own. It doesn't work like that. No matter how much you say that ownership, there's a certain legitimacy that comes with when you have the mandate of the people, and it's over 2 years now, I think we're entering the third year, that legitimacy is still not there, and you see them struggling a lot to be able to get it. So you can have it's just like when you have a coup. Yeah, people have coup. Yeah, we have coup, and they get in, and that's not a legitimate, government, but they're there, and there's nothing you can do, and they make rules, and they do a lot of things. They do decree and all of that. That doesn't mean that you have to accept it, and that's the reason why even in Nigeria for the longest time, people fought the military era. We could also have said, oh, there's no need because there's someone who is sitting on the seat and, saying that he is president, whether they're sworn in or not.
You recently joined the ADC. Do you believe the opposition is sufficiently united to defeat the APC as it's currently structured?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe it is so. And why do I say so? Because at the end of the day, there's always a common goal that brings people together. And that goal right now is to ensure that Nigeria gets legitimate leadership that is from the mandate that the people have given, and not one that anyone has rigged or stolen or gotten themselves into. So at this moment, there is that unity of purpose towards that goal in ensuring that. Do I think that the people who are coming together, the opposition, they all like each other, they're chummy, and they would all want to have been in the same row? Absolutely not. But, when you get to a stage where it is no longer about you, but about the nation or about the goal, then everybody has to be aligned on one issue and face it. And that's what is currently happening. And for me, what I want to see is more Nigerians look at this moment that we are in our country to say it's not about our personal ideology or what we believe in, to say, oh, we don't want to do politics because it's dirty or something. But we should look at it from the point of view that at this moment, politics is now mandatory on every Nigerian who has the capacity, who has the competence, who has the character to be in. You don't have to run for office. Just being in the party and ensuring that things are done the right way, not the usual way. And sometimes you find out that there are people who are entrenched in the way that they have been doing things for a very long time, and they have justified it and they've accepted it in their own way, that they don't see anything wrong with what they're doing. So it needs certain new eyes looking to say, no, this thing that might not be anything to you, it's really important in a way. And I give you an example. I grew up with people being called Fatty Bobo. Oh, you're so... And I think there was a day I had mentioned or said something like that. And my then, she was 15, 16-year-old daughter looked at me and she was like, Mom, that's body shaming. You can't do that. So because I have been entrenched and I was called one all my life and it's like normal, I thought it was okay until I had my daughter, whom I'm 28 years older than, pointing it out to me to say, what you're doing is wrong. And from that moment, I've never gone on that. I've realized, okay, this is what body shaming is all about. So it's the same way. You've had politicians who have done this in a similar way, and they feel it's okay. It's getting all of us coming to say, no, this is how we'll tweak this, and this is how we'll get better. And by the time we get there, we're going to have that, a formidable opposition. And that's what the African Democratic Congress is all about.
It's interesting. Okay, you are part of a political party, a bunch of people who, some of them, you have critically criticized.
Absolutely, and I'll still critically criticize. Even me, I am
but you sit on the same table in the same room from them. That those who see that as hypocritical.
Okay, so for those, what I would say to them, at this moment, I have the privilege to be able to stay back and say I won't be part of the whole process, right, or anything. But there are millions of Nigerians who don't have that same privilege. I'm educated. I've gone to good schools. I went to a university when you could still get good, quality education from it, almost at little or no cost. I've been privileged in Nigeria. I've been a businesswoman. I started my business in the year 2000. I think this year will make it 26 years ago. It was a whole lot easier than it is for a lot of young people who are starting now. And I'm at a place like I've always said to people, even during the last election, whatever disastrous leadership that Nigeria took, at this stage, I'm privileged enough to be able to survive it. But there are so many people who are in privileged, who were like the 13-year-old me, 14, 15-year-old me, who was struggling, begging people to give her textbook to be able to read. For me, those people are my main concern. And for those who say it's hypocritical, what I say to them, if I, Aisha Yesufu, had joined, God forbid, I'm even having thinking about it, I've joined APC. That's when you say I'm hypocritical. They're destroying the country and all the things they do, and you're going to join them to say, no, I have been here in the opposition, opposing, you understand, whatever it is that APC is giving at us. And these same people, some of them that were there, have seen that, what they're doing is wrong, and they've come to where I have been. And people expect that I will leave the room and give it to them. No. Politics, let me tell you, it's not a love affair. It's not where we go there to like each other. I might not like you. I don't want to have anything with you, but we have a common goal, and that common goal is to have a Nigeria that works for everybody. And for me, I'm going to focus on that goal. And if you deviate from that goal, we're going to continue whatever quarrel we have or whatever it is. But for now, it's about Nigeria, and that's where the focus is.
I see Malami, I see El Rufai, I see Rotimi Amechi, I see John Oyegun, who was the chairman of the screening committee of the APC presidential election 3 years ago. All of them that you heavily criticized as a bunch of people who are destroying this country. And the same set of people you said you want to fix Nigeria with. And
on my watch, that I'm not going to allow them to destroy the country. So you see,
so
those
you trust
people,
them.
I don't
trust them 3 years
myself. I don't trust myself. This is not about trust. This is ensuring that where I am on the issue of Nigeria, you can't do anyhow. Why you are seeing all those people? I am seeing an Aisha Yesufu. I am seeing X, Z, Y persons who are joining. I'm seeing the two young ladies who came to the party yesterday, party secretariat, and they said because we saw Aisha Yesufu join, we're joining. I'm seeing all those Nigerians who are picking up their cards, who some of them were on the streets making demands, answers, and they saw their colleagues being killed. I see some of them who have been shouting every day. Now they are saying that this politics, we will no longer leave it to people who think they are the ones who own Nigeria and they would use it. And we are coming to ensure that there are changes. Those are the people that I see. You know, in this thing, when they talk about confirmation bias, you would see what you want to see. I would see what I want to see. I am an active member of the African Democratic Congress, and no member is more member than any member. What you have, if you're a leader or whatever, is extra responsibility. I don't see myself less than an RFI because it's in the party. No, I own my space, and where I am, whether they like it or not, it has to be about what is for the betterment of Nigeria, and that's where I'm focused on. I'm not doing chummy with them. I'm not going to sit down in a room where we are doing. No, it's all about Nigeria, and this we're discussing it as party members, and that's the reason why we need more people joining. And I'm glad a lot of people are clamoring to join, and they're willing to join. I'll give you an example. When a water is dirty, if you were to put a cup, if we had this thing was transparent and it was a cup of dirty water, if everybody left it without putting in any clean water, it's going to remain dirty. If you drop one single drop of water into it, a clean one, it's going to remain dirty. But guess what? If you continue to drop that one and it goes on, before you know what's happening, that water that used to be dirty will now be clean. And that's what we must do in politics. Sitting on our sanctimonious throne and feeling that, oh, we are the good ones and we're not this thing, that's doing the same thing and expecting a different result.
It looks as if, and to a lot of people, and maybe you want to make some clarification, that your political affiliation or membership for any political party is dependent on your political ally, your principal, Mr. Peter Obi, whom a lot of people think that you are doing most of the things because you trust in the personality of Peter Obi, that you worked for the Labour Party because of Peter Obi, and you are joining the ADC because of Peter Obi. Is that right?
That's right to an extent. Yes, I did. And this is it. In the last election, like they say, for everything that you do, you learn from it, right? In the last election, I was not a card-carrying member of the of any party. Even though a lot of people, even up to today, they still call me a Labour Party member, I wasn't. And I stayed in my own case. I supported him. And this is not the first time that I'm supporting a presidential candidate. I supported a presidential candidate in 2018, and that's Dr. Obi Ezekwesili. For me, it's about getting who is that candidate I know would do as much for Nigeria. And in Mr. Peter Obi, I see someone who has competence, character, capacity, who is compassionate, who has empathy, who also wants to have a legacy. He wants to be in that role where you see a Nelson Mandela, you see a Lee Kuan Yew, someone who wants to take Nigeria to a place where hundreds of years from now, people will remember him. And I also want that, for Nigeria. And definitely, I'm going to support that. The last time I was on the outside, there are certain decisions I can't make because I'm on the outside. And this time I'm thinking, not just Mr. Peter Obi, but definitely a major part of it, absolutely, is due to Mr. Peter Obi, but also getting other people that would be able to run for office. For me, I don't want to choose between the devil and the Red Sea. And if you followed my trajectory all this, I've always said that there's no political party that doesn't have competent candidates. The thing is that the political parties will always give us the candidates who are not competent because those are the ones that they can control and those are the ones that are not going to be for the people. And so if I'm coming in here, my being in here is to ensure that the competent candidates are able to come out as flag bearers so that when we're choosing, it's a matter of we're choosing from amongst the best and looking at, okay, what ideology is this one going for? Is this, pro-life or is this pro-choice, like the Americans, would say? That's where I'm looking for. And how do I do that? I can't do that from the outside. I can do that from inside the party. And that's exactly what I'm there. So like I said, yes, to an extent, for those who say it's my choices are also, based on the fact that Mr. Peter Obi is going to absolutely, they're right.
So when you say that you would work against any ADC ticket in which Peter Obi is presented as a running mate, are you saying that even if a fair and democratic primary process produces another candidate, you would work against that person?
When we get there, we'll see that.
But in your own view,
when we get there,
it is Peter Obi that you think is most formidable to fight the...
So let me tell you something.
Yeah.
So that's a comment I made this thing ago. I'm like, when we get there, because I don't want to say anything. For me, I love people to see the action. People always be like, oh, when you get into a party, this is. I will tell you, and I'm not mincing any words. Aisha Yesufu, today, and a lot of Nigerians, see, Mr. Peter Obi is that person who has the most competence, credibility, character, and trustworthiness of the people, that the people trust in to guide the nation to where it needs to be. And I'm not mincing words on that. And I tell you something. As we are, there is no anybody that can outspend APC as it is, because they have the resources of this nation to do whatever it is that they want. And they're already doing whatever it is that they want to do. But guess what? There is one person that can outpassion them, and that's Mr. Peter Obi. And because of him, there are people who are going to come out and put their lives on the line and say there will be no rigging that will be done when they see him on that ticket. There are two things that usually you get when you have someone who is running for office. Usually it's either they're very competent, but unfortunately, they don't have the people. They are not as popular. They are not like the people's choice that people are ready to go all out for. Or you have sometimes the people are ready to go all out for them, but on the competency level, they are a bit weak. But for the first time in a long time that I can remember, I started voting in 1993. We have someone who these two qualities are in that person. He has the competence, and he's the one the people are yearning for. And so that's what we should be looking at.
So for you, it's Obi or nothing?
That's not what I'm saying. For me, it's Obi and Obi.
What if Obi is a running mate on the ticket? Would that work?
That's his choice. But I tell you, when we get there, you would see.
But would you work for an Obi as a running mate?
I don't work for Obi.
Because you said it at some point that you have told him that he should not go. And it does look like a lot of obedience actually listen to you. You have a huge, just a moment. Let me land on my question. You have a huge command and control, and just a moment. You have a huge command and control on the thoughts of a lot of obedient who listen to you and who seem to agree with you, and a lot of them out there believe that it's obey or nothing.
Let me tell you something. That's a very wrong way of looking at it. Nobody has command and control. Nobody has command and control over obedience. No, and I repeat, nobody.
Not even Mr. Obi himself.
Not Mr. Peter Obi himself. Nobody has. These are people, and that's the uniqueness of the obedient movement. The people who are there, they came in on their own. Nobody went to go and break them. They came in on their own and saw this support. Remember that this whole started from, even though it's called obedient movement, it started from after NSAS, when politicians were saying to those who had been the protesters and everything, if you don't like what happened, change us. So by 2021, you could see they have started mobilizing people to pick their PVCs, were doing this and everything. And when Mr. Peter Obi came out, they saw that. By as far back as 2021, you can go and check my tweets. The tweets are still there. I had done a tweet where I gave a list of things that PDP needed to do. And one of them was, I was like, put Mr. Peter Obi at the forefront and Wike Jr. That was in 2021. By 2022, both of them had already, left the party. And so for him, that support, it's not about, there's someone who is telling them what to do. And these are people who are entrepreneurial. They have their jobs. They are not like the one that you are paying them 10. Hukuma knows they give shishi. He's not paying anybody 10,000 every month for them to talk about him or to support him. They own their support. And they've repeatedly, most of them have repeatedly said that their support is not transferable. But let me tell you something. In 2014, and those tweets are still there, and I'll refer you to that tweet. And I did say that there was no how President Muhammadu Buhari, then General Muhammadu Buhari, was going to win election, especially after what had happened in 2011, yes, and all of that. I never wanted, to vote for. And even a lot of people, they were against me as of that time. But by February, I changed my mind. Why? Because there was someone who was a running mate. And that's Professor Yemi Osibanjo. And I keep saying it. I don't have Buhari and Obasanjo's regime. I don't have any issue with Buhari, however he did, whether the incompetence and whatever, because I never believed him in the first time. But it was Professor Yemi Osibanjo that I voted for, and a lot of Nigerians. And let me remind you, by December, he was the one that started the campaign. He was on the streets. He was in Molwell. He was meeting people in their houses. He was doing town hall. He was doing common sense revolution. I'm like, wow, this is something new. And we all know Buhari. I was 10 years old when Buhari first became president, December 31st. I turned 10, December 12, 1983, and December 31st, he became president. And it was him and Idiagbo. And we saw how Idiagbo. And over the years, even when he was at PTF, you saw he's always someone who delegates. So I'm like, okay, with someone like Professor Osibanjo, we're going to have it. And guess what? And so I voted for that, because I see a lot of people say, oh, but you were the one that brought Buhari. No, it was Yemi Osibanjo for me that I was bringing him. And after that, I remember they were saying, Buhari will take care of security, Yemi with economy. I said, okay, even if you have Yemi, if he delegates to him, that makes it better. And I put my neck out and I voted. And my voice was very loud. And all for them to come. And guess what? After that, I realized that a running mate is actually like a spare tire that you were driving and you now had a flat tire, and you open your boot and the spare tire was at home. You get it?
And sometimes spare tires never get used.
Apart from even getting used, even when you want to, it's even at home. So you need to go home and bring it. And so for me, Aisha Yesufu, I am not, and I will never again, I've learned from that experience, I will never again vote for a running mate or campaign for a running mate. My campaign is for whoever is in charge, the president, whoever has the presidency. No, so I'm not using the running mate candidate as what I'm campaigning for. So I want to see a presidential candidate who I know is the most competent, has the most character, has the most empathy, has the best interests of Nigeria at heart, is not held down by luggages, and at this moment also physically fit, mentally fit to be able to take on the job. I am 52 years old. I have a son who is 26. He's going to be 27 in March. I have my last child. She's 24 already. And I would not want to have someone who is a leader that is not mentally and physically fit enough to run Nigeria and ensure it is kept not just for me, but for also my children and my unborn grandchildren if my children decide they want to have kids.
Okay. So you will work with anybody who emerges as the candidate of the ADC?
I will work with the most competent person who emerges.
As the party deemed fit?
I will work with the most competent person. For me, it's about the most competent. If I don't see competence, it will be another story. But then, like I said, I am not, whoever is a running mate is not what holds me or makes me work or not work. I'm not here to just be in a party because I want, anyhow, it's not about, me getting in or whatever. It's a party that I know is going to ensure that Nigeria gets the best. And that's why I'm inside the party, to be able to ensure that we're all here and we give Nigeria the best that it needs to have.
I'm curious, though. I thought that the obedient movement fizzled out or died after the 2023 election. Is that movement still alive? Are there still anyone called obedient presently?
Sure. I'm like, did I enter show? Am I?
I'm curious.
No, you're curious. You were just speaking earlier on of who is commanding or not commanding obedient movement, and then the same you are asking me a question in the next breath.
I'm just curious.
Whether there's don't worry.
Is it still active?
They are selling curiosity in the market. When we go to buy, we'll find out the answer.
Are you an obedient?
I don't know.
Are you an obedient?
I'm a Peter Obi supporter. Go ahead. If that curiosity will buy it, whatever it is.
So you are not an obedient?
I'm a Peter Obi supporter.
But you're part of the obedient movement?
I'm a Peter Obi supporter.
Do you think that the obedient movement or the support base of Peter Obi, as it was in 2023, still
it's
exists?
Stronger. It's stronger than it was.
The numbers have increased?
Oh, Lord have mercy. You don't even want to know. So let me tell you. One of the things that people try to do is to look at one person has said this and say, the moment one person says something, that's the obedient saying something. If Aisha Yesufu says something, that's the obedient. So that's Aisha saying something. The leader of the obedient movement is Dr. Tanko Yunusa. And it is when he says something as the leader that it becomes the obedient movement has said anything. Every other person as an individual they are. Let me come to your question to tell you that. When Peter Obi started and he left PDP, many people saw it as if, that was the biggest political, mistake that he had made and all of that. And they felt, how can you leave, a party that is the biggest opposition party, one-time ruling party, to go and join almost an unknown party, that he was not going to do anything. And so for them at that moment, they saw that they knew of his competence, character, capacity. They knew of his capacity to be able to handle Nigeria very well, but they felt the place that he was in, the party he was in, there's no how he's going to pull those votes. And I remember doing an interview and I saying that, look, there are a lot of people who were supporting because people are not following this thing from the NSAS and the pain that a lot of Nigerians had carried, and young Nigerians who hitherto had never focused on governance because some of them, they didn't see military the way we saw, they didn't see how brutal government can be, and they realized how brutal it can be, and they were ready to make that change. So people didn't recognize that. And so a lot of them, and I tell people that those were the rational ones. And rationality is always about incrementalism. Let's do it small, we'll get there. It is those innovators are always the ones who are irrational. They're like, we know this can happen, and they give their all. For those of us who were supporting Peter Obi, the obedient movement, for us it was about, this can be done, and we're ready to put our energy in, and they did. But guess what? Remember also, Mr. Peter Obi, people were saying that, there are only 4 people tweeting in a room, and he can't get 100,000 votes. There were people who said they will leave politics if he even wins a state and stuff like that. And they were proven wrong. He won the 2023 election, no matter what it is that the official figures are. You've seen a lot of people who have come to confess with their own mouth what they did. But that they say, is it water by the bridge or under the bridge or whatever the expression is? We've moved on from there. Right now, those people who knew his competence and everything, that then they felt, oh, they might be wasting their vote because he was in a smaller party, have come to see the phenomenal, outing that he had. And so a lot of them are now on board. And for me, the beautiful thing about the obedient movement is how there are so many of them who you won't see them coming out to tell you, oh, I'm obedient, I'm not obedient. For them, it's not the title. They don't do titles. They are all out there in their millions, all over the country, just waiting. And I'll tell you something. And go and check the video immediately after the election of former Governor Dave Umahi. I think that's former Governor of Ebonyi State, if I'm not mistaken. You will see in that video where he said he didn't know that even in his family, there were a lot of obedience. And so what they did was that they voted for Mr. Peter Obi for the presidency. And then for the other ones, of course, they voted in their choices, his party. So there are a lot. And even I think the former governor of Edo State, give me his name again.
Adams Oshiomhole.
No, the immediate past
Godwin
governor.
Obaseki.
Oh, yes, Governor Godwin Obaseki also said, the same thing. His family, there are a lot of obedience. That's how it is. Literally, all over the country, they are there. So right now, you see more of them. They're just waiting. And one of the things I would say to you is how phenomenal, especially these young people, especially the obedient, they do their things, where there's this. It's not that a lot of people say it's leaderless. It's not leaderless. There's this horizontal kind of leadership. We're used to the vertical kind of leadership, like command and control. No, they're all leaders. And so everybody, they're doing their own things. And you've seen from the coalition when Mr. Peter Obi, they all came out, he was there. You see the momentum. And you can also see the increased momentum in terms of December 31st, when he also, formally called his people, obedience, and the Southeast and supporters and say, let's go in there. You see that happening. So it's not that it's bigger than it used to be, but most times, and the beautiful thing about it is, you might say it's not in your face, but it's there.
All right.
And it's throbbing.
You recently tweeted that defeating President Tinubu in 2027 will be easier than in 2023. What specific changes or development has happened between now and then? And empirically, what are the facts to show that Tinubu, who had an 8 million vote recorded and announced for him, against a Peter Obi who had a 6 million vote, will be able, if he emerges as the candidate of the ADC, will be able to defeat? And considering that the APC now have 29 governors in the kitty, controlling state structure in 29 places, and you think that you can be able to easily defeat that kind of structure?
Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing, I need you to calm down, take a deep breath, and listen. So when you said empirical evidence, you should have told me when I'm coming. I would have brought out the research.
Your calculator
and this. But anyway, in spite of that, let me go ahead and give you some. Just to say that I think in 2007, if I'm not mistaken, PDP was controlling as much as 20, maybe 7 or such numbers. Not sure of the figure. Now that's why I say if you had told me, but you pull out the figure when you're doing the testing. They were controlling as much, governor. It didn't mean that PDP was not defeated at the end of the day. That's number one. On this issue of governors that people talk about, I think are they up to 30 now that they're controlling? It's a show of strength that it's not there. So because, of course, Tinubu knows he has lost the people, so he's doing everything possible for him to be able to show, to have a perception of strength that is not available. And that's why you see him doing everything he can to bring in the governors. So just like you saw with the PDP in Zamfara, I think it was, where you had the governor who decided that he was going to join the ruling party, and what ended up happening? He ended up losing. I'm just taking you, along. So that, I think that was, what's his name again? Zamfara, the current Minister of Defense State.
Yeah.
I'm a bit poor with names. So
Bello Matawalle.
Bello Matawalle. He left the party, where that he had won in and joined the ruling party, and he ended up being defeated. That is going to happen to a lot of governors. Now also, if you look at the structure of APC, where you now have a lot of these governors have come in, and some of the reports that are coming out that some of them were promised automatic tickets when they come in and stuff, and now we are also hearing some reports that they are saying, oh no. Guess what? In this last election, there were people who had wanted to run or had run within that party, and they lost. Let me take Kano as an example. There was a gubernatorial candidate of APC gubernatorial candidate in Kano, and then now that same person, by the time you go into next election, you're telling that person that, oh, you can't run just because this governor has come, has joined, and then what message is that going to send? And you know the way the political machinery works. For some states, they have what they call, is it like a region? They've, I can't remember, I'm looking for the word now, where it is certain senatorial zone that will produce this and produce that. If it passes your turn, you miss it, you're going to stay the next maybe 8 years before you get in. And for some people, they know time is not on their side. There's going to be a huge fight. Just watch it and say that Aisha Yesufu told you. There's going to be an impulsion in APC. By the time the fighting starts, as we go on, that's enough to take care of them. That's one. Let's come back to the other issues for me. If you look at, Lagos State. For me, I'm the kind of person that I always look at things and put them, look at the repercussion of every action that it's done and what the implication both now and later. In Lagos State, there was something maybe people might not think it's really important, but for me, I think it's something that is very instrumental. When Obasa, the Speaker of the House, Obasa, was removed, and then by an overwhelming majority, and the other lady, I think Mojisola, Honorable Mojisola, sorry, I may be poor with names, was now installed. Miranda, yes. And the whole back and forth that went through with it, and where, according to reports, Tinubu was not happy with that, whether his wife was not happy. And there was a meeting that they did. They all came to Abuja, including the governor, deputy governor. There's another, is it APC stakeholder? I can't remember what they call them now, in that same Lagos, who came in. And at the end of the day, they were forced to return Obasa. In doing that, I can tell you, there are people who are not happy. Because I remember that meeting they said, Tinubu is not God. There was one who had said, Tinubu is not God. He cannot come and tell us what we are going to do in this. They've already made the decision. They've removed Obasa. They've installed this woman. You know all of that. But at the end of the day, that's reversed. What then that happens is that there are people who will now be unhappy because they were sort of like, I'm looking for the word now, shown in a light that is not good. You understand? When you are just it's not demoralized. There's a particular word I'm looking for, but I can't get it. But they were slighted. Let me use that word. They were slighted. And so there will be that anger that is waiting for as you go into 2027. Not all of that. Keep that in mind. I'm building up something. Another thing also, a lot of people who were his allies for the 2023 election are no longer his allies. There are some of them who are very angry and very bitter at the way and manner in which they were treated. And some of them have vowed they will do everything. They know the secrets. And some of them have also revealed how they did the rigging. They know the in and out. So when you're going into a race where the people who you had worked with everything, you have now in a way make them angry at you, it becomes more difficult. That's another one. The whole hula baloo happening in Rivers State, that can also be another thing. And of course, Wike being Wike, anything can happen. These are just on the part of his political allies and structure. Let me come back to the issue of generality of Nigerians. There were some who, in all honesty to them, they believed he had the capacity to do the things that they felt he was going to do. One of the things you will agree with is that there was something that Tinubu enjoyed, which was the lot of reforms that the Obasanjo administration were doing. Lagos was a beneficiary of those reforms. And whether you like it or not, it also added to all that outlook of the way Lagos went. Even though you could see Fashola did amazingly, well after. So there were some people who felt that, oh, he had done it before. He has, what do this thing they used to call it? He can organize teams, master strategies that we have not seen. The strategy is not strategizing, organize team and everything. But by him coming in and all of these things that we see in Nigeria now, where there's no strategy anywhere, everything has fallen down, things have become far worse. I mean, if anybody had told me that anyone can be worse than the presidency of President Muhammadu Buhari, I would have said it's a lie. But, I mean, Buhari is looking like a hero right now, based on the things that are on ground.
You think that this government is a failure?
I don't think so. I say so.
It's
a failure. There is the illegitimate government that we have that rigged itself into office, that shouldn't have been into office. It's an abysmal failure, the kind of failure, unprecedented, that has never been seen in Nigeria. So let me land on where I'm going to. You asked me for empirical evidence, and I'm just starting. And so the fact that they have failed so much, and a very vivid example to the common man. It's someone on Twitter who saw a receipt that he had used to buy certain things in 2020. Remember, in 2020, people were crying how bad things were because things had become very expensive compared to 2015 when President Muhammadu Buhari had taken over. Things were very bad. And that 2020, someone saw a receipt of that, and I think he did that shopping in 2025, December or January 26, I'm not sure now. He went to do similar, he bought the same thing, where in 2020 he spent about 20-something thousand. In 2025 or early 20 or 2026, he spent about 140-something thousand. That tells you everything. There is nothing you're going to say to the person on the street that can no longer feed himself. There's no propaganda. You can do propaganda before election, but in governance, you can't do propaganda because people are feeling it. And so the people who now are who had supported him, a lot of them are no longer willing to support him. A lot of them have said it's not about tribe. You can be, it's not about Milokon or whatever it is, that it doesn't matter what tribe you are, whether you're the same street with someone who puts himself in there and takes over your resources and using it. If it's not using it well, it's going to affect you. So there are a lot of these things. These are the empirical evidence that are on ground. And so those people now have withdrawn their support. And then you now also have the northern part of Nigeria. And I'll tell you, the northern part of Nigeria was the part, especially the northwest, was the part that gave Tinubu the critical number he needed to rig election. Because for you to be able to rig election, you have to have a critical number. And I'll tell you, if you don't have a critical number, the only rigging you can do is to reduce the margin and the accumulation, like what happened in places like Lagos State, Plateau State and all of that, where there was rigging, but it was not rigging to win, it was rigging to reduce the margin. So having provided that critical number that led to the rigging that got him, sworn in and all of that, and the way he has treated that same region, there is an anger, and they're saying we're going to meet at the ballot paper. So forget whether he's picking up governors left, right, and center, inducing them to come over. Even those governors know that they do not have the people, the support of the people. So it's free for all. Okay, some people, I don't know, it's allegations. Some people are saying that, these governors are being paid huge amount of money for them to come. I don't know how factual that is. If that is in its own is factual, everybody is going there to pick whatever it is that they can pick, knowing fully well they don't even have the support of the people. And there are so many other things in today's, and even with the insecurity that you have, the fact that insecurity has sort of like worsened. People were speaking all these years. Tinubu couldn't be bothered. It took the America designating Nigeria as a country of particular concern for him to even bother and be interested in all the security machinations. And you see where all of that is going to. And I think that's it. Yeah.
So there is no chance in the world for President Tinubu and the APC to win 2027 election?
There is no chance in the world. And because for me, I will always say, inshallah, as a Muslim, anything in the future, you put inshallah. There's no chance in the word inshallah for the former governor of Lagos State, Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to win the 2027 election.
What if he wins?
What if he wins? Then he will be recognized as a winner. If he wins, but I don't see that happening. So let me tell you something. For me, whatever choices, I respect the choices of the people. If the people decide they're going to do a certain choice, fine. But rigging is where I put a stop at it. And I say a lot of people will say, Aisha, why is? I say, I don't care. 2023, if genuinely he had won, he would have been the president. Whether we like it or not, whether it's being destroyed, I say, hey, show you people voted for him and see what it is. But winning and rigging are two different things. If I tell you, if he's sure, because now I've been speaking all this English, if he's sure for former governor of Lagos, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, say he go fit win election, ensure free, fair, credible election. Remove all that mago, just ensure free, fair, credible election and let the results show for themselves. That's it. Why are they afraid of a free, fair?
Are they afraid?
They are. They're afraid of it. They stand against it. They do everything for it not to happen. Just allow the choices of the people matter. As they're voting, put out the result. Let's have a show. Even if it's today, let's do it today. Call the people out. Let them vote. Put out the screens and everything. Let all of us in Nigeria sit outside. We're saying the number. I think was it South Africa? Which country was doing it? You see the numbers coming in, and let the voting be. And whoever it is that gets it, let it be. So the thing is, you see the people who are afraid. You see the people who constantly do not want for this free, fair, credible election to happen. That's where the problem is. It's not about who wins at the end of the day. It's about what the people's mandate given as it is. We're enabling environment for people to vote peacefully without fear for their lives. 2023, you saw how people were fearing for their lives, people who were killed in the process of voting, people who were hurt in the process of voting, people who were denied from voting. We saw what happened in Lagos gubernatorial election. That is not election. Let us not be focused on, it's not about who is there. It's about this country. We all will die. But Nigeria, by the grace of God, is still going to be here, hopefully for the next 1,000 years. What are we doing to ensure that it gets the best that it can get?
So you look at what is going on, and I see your tweet, was it yesterday or this morning? You were apologizing to Yemi Adamalekun. And there are those who have started criticizing the ADC.
Absolutely.
That this party is insincere. How would you...
I haven't seen insincere in what sense?
Yeah, how do you put on your committee to put up a policy without consulting them, and you publish their names without and you said that it's quite unfair for them for their names to be there, and you apologize on behalf of the party. How can Nigerians trust that set of structure or organization that does such a thing?
By the fact that we are willing to own up to our mistakes and take responsibility and do better. Like I said, I saw Yemi's tweet, which of course she had every right to. Nobody's name should be put out without that person, first of all, a call to that person and that person's consent gotten. You first of all reach out to the person and you get their consent that they're willing to be on that board, no matter how eager we are to get to work on building Nigeria. And for me, because I am an active member, I'm a member, and I felt on behalf of my party, I apologize to her and every other person who had seen their names in there. When you say the party being criticized, absolutely. ADC will be criticized. I will be criticized. And we must hold ourselves to higher standards than we hold others. And that's what we are doing there. And by me being there, this is me saying, yes, this is what happens. Mistakes are made, no doubt about it. But there's nowhere where you make mistakes, you're doubling down on mistake. That should never have happened in the first place. And that's the reason why we are asking more people. Like I did say to you earlier, if you remember at the beginning of this conversation, I said sometimes we're used to doing things and we think it is okay. And that's why I gave you the story of my daughter correcting me when I talked about fatty bobo, that's body shaming. Because I grew up That was normal. And so you have a group of people sometimes who are used to that's the way it is. I mean, for a lot, it's an honor to just be on the list and for your name to be chosen, but that's not the way. Formal process, due diligence has to be done, and the right process, followed in everything that. And so that's why some of us are in here and are calling on more to come into the party, and so that that anything that you see that it's, we want to build a new Nigeria
those who are saying,
and get it
look,
there.
These are the people who say they want to change Nigeria. They've not even started anything. They're already goofing. And
goofing is part of life, show.
Yeah,
everybody
and they're already making those kind of funny errors of publishing people without due diligence. Is that how you are going to govern?
And that is why that is why there's an active ADC member who is taking responsibility and saying to you, and saying, we've seen that. We're apologizing for that, and we definitely will do better, and we go back. Making mistakes, I've always said, and if you go to my old tweets, you will see that it's not. I think from 2015, I'd even say that it's something that it's done, but not learning from your mistake is something that will be inexcusable. And so this has done. We've taken responsibility, and definitely as we go forward, we will learn that that is not acceptable in any way whatsoever. And I'm repeating it as Aisha Yesufu, who happens to be an active member of the African Democratic Congress, that it is not acceptable for anybody's name to be put out without getting that person's consent and acceptance for whatever role it is. Everybody needed to be called. I think there are about 15 names or thereabout. Everybody there needed to be called, a letter sent to them, and then their written acknowledgement or acceptance gotten from them before you go. And there are a lot of people who want to do that. I know what is so ironic. One of the names that is there had actually reached out to me, I think as far back as 2 weeks ago, to say, sending in a document to say, in whatever capacity I can serve on ADC, I will. And that's not, it's not Yemi Adama looking, by the way, for people, I don't want any speculation. She's not the one. But one of the names there, the person had reached out to me. So you see, all that needed is just, to get the process. Because for anything that we do, I'm going to use a quote now that Mr. Peter Obi said after, I think was it after the 2023 election, which is so apt, that for you to be called excellency, the process that brings you must be excellent. So whatever we are doing, the process must always be excellent, and we'll work on that. And this is the beauty of having more people coming into the party, the African Democratic Congress. By the time we're coming with our ideas, and we say, hey, no, the old way of doing things, that's not the way. There are some who, for them, that's the best way. Just put the out. They're happy. Some people are already happy, jumping, showing the newspaper and say that, no, but that's not the way it's done. And there's a generation that is saying, no, that's not it is. And so when you come in, you get it done. We cannot get the best by staying outside. That's one thing I've realized, and that's why I'm in the African Democratic Congress. So let others come in, and we continue to get better.
I'd like to know, you have established in this interview that you're not concerned about the set of people that have congregated in the ADC as much as you are concerned about the goal and the agenda of Nigeria.
Absolutely.
And that is what is pushing you. But what then is the philosophy and the ideology that is bringing everyone into the ADC? What does the ADC stand for? How can Nigerians identify how ADC hopes to govern Nigeria? How do we be able to pinpoint the philosophy and the principles that ADC stands for?
So in looking at it is looking at it as a platform. Let there be equitable development, a development that carries everyone along, unity, a nation that is united, a country that has grown after over 60 years, that should be able to go from being a country to being a nation, where we see a common goal that benefits everyone and not just a few. These are few of the things that ADC is coming out for, and that's why we are all here to build it. Like I said to someone, in the political party, and I think in other interviews I had, it's about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And if the good don't enter, then they don't have no reason saying that, the bad and the ugly have done something. It's all about numbers. If the good are more, the party will be good. If the bad are more, the party will be bad. If the ugly are more, the ugly will be good. I'm not saying that anybody is good, bad, or ugly, but just using that analogy to say it depends. It's all about numbers. And when you come in, you are able to sway. It's just like Nigeria today. I can tell you that if Nigeria sees good leadership from the top, it's going to go down where people will do the right thing that they're supposed to do. And so that is what this is all about. Instead of focusing on, this person, that few numbers, there are few numbers. Even let's say even the people that have participated in the political system or have been in leadership in Nigeria, be it at party level, at state level, local government level, national level, and all of that. If you put them together, I don't think they are up to 1 million. If you put them together today, they are not up to 1 million. Or let's say max, let's even say there are 10 million people who have done that. Are you saying that the remaining over 200 million people, or let's say maybe there are 50, or maybe let's say 100 million people counting out, those are less than 18, cannot come and say we want what is good for Nigeria and overwhelm this whole people who have not given Nigeria the best? It can be done. And so for me, that's where it is. At this moment, let me tell you, Shehu, I see a lot of Nigerians who say that politics is dirty, that they don't want to be a part of politics. Sometimes people proudly say, I'm not a politician, I don't do politics. That's a fallacy. By not doing politics, we've allowed ourselves to be governed by the worst. And I think it was Pluto that said that's what's happening. It's happening in Nigeria. At this moment that we are in, it is no longer an option. It is a necessity for every Nigerian to participate in politics, be it what it is. And for me, it's about political activism. And I've always been saying it, I think as far back as maybe 2019 or thereabout, that we have political activism. It's either one, you're running for office because you have the capacity to do that, or you are campaigning for those running for office, or you are helping them raise money. And then the fourth one of that for the political activism for me is holding the people who are voted into office accountable. And for me, I love what happened, and I love the way that Yemi Adamaleku went on at ADC. I would do the same. How dare you put my name out there when you've not sought for my consent and I'm not given an acceptance that I'm going to be part of it. You just don't go and put people's. That's what being an active citizen is all about. That's what it means, holding, accountable. And definitely our duty as citizens is to always hold those who are in authority accountable. And that's what Nigerians must do. So at this stage, every one of us, we must look at it as participating in politics has become not just necessity, but also mandatory. Then when we have the critical number that can make the right decision for all of us, then we cannot afford to say we'll no longer participate in politics. We can then go home and relax and be doing our other things, knowing fully well that there's a critical number that would take care of the affairs of the nation.
So we do not know as of now what political ideology leaning that the ADC will be standing on. But I'd love to know, and you're a Muslim, I see that you're a devout one. However, there are a lot of us who don't believe that Nigeria's politics or governance should be run on the premise of faith or ethnicity. Well, those are very sensitive cleavages, if we are not careful, that can break and further divide us as a people. So it's important for politicians to take cognizance of those cleavages and be able to mend it in such a way that it will help the people rather than divide them. As a Muslim, are you comfortable with a Muslim ticket?
For me, everything is about equity and justice, and Islam is about equity and justice. As far back as 2022, I have said that Nigeria is a secular state, and it needs to remain a secular state. And our faith, and also we need to have a place where the faith that we do, we are allowed to practice it as it is. Everybody has a right to that. And in Nigeria, we just don't have, it's not just Muslims, Islam, Christianity, they're other religion, the traditional religion. Everyone has a right to practice their own religion in their way. When it comes to governance, it is not about your religion or not. It is about what you bring in. But then, the way Nigeria has been structured and the way you've seen where there is sort of like, how do I put it now? Injustice being meted at in a way, and the balancing that ought to happen. It's part of the reasons why this has become a major issue. And as of Nigeria of today, everybody should take cognizance of that. In 1993, there was a Muslim ticket. Nobody bothered about it. Nigeria was not as polarized as it is today. Unfortunately for us, we have had unfortunate leaders who came into office, charlatans who decided, instead of working and giving development for them to be able to get support, they rather went the religious and the ethnicity route to divide the people and cause this hatred amongst the people. And so that has been, a major issue that has led to where we are now today, that even a consideration of that is not, it's not a big problem. So as of today, the Nigeria of today that we have, a Muslim ticket, a Christian ticket, it's not the way to go. And if my party is coming out with a Muslim ticket or a Christian ticket, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no to it. But let me tell you something. Even knowing for that, for me, and I'll give you an example, because one must stand with truth, equity, and justice, even if it's against you. I'm a Muslim from the southern part of Nigeria. I'm a minority. In short, from where I am a minority amongst the minority. And if Aisha Yesufu, one day decides to run for president, it means I have to take my running mate from the north. And if I say I want to take from the north, although some people, and I say, I'm going to, let me look for who has more population, although that is debatable. Now, a lot of people have debated it. I'll say I'll go and carry a Muslim, because would that fly for me? And then if I say, okay, let me take a Christian, for some, although some have said, I've been corrected a number of times that it's not, there's no Christian minority in the north, that it's almost the same thing. But, the numbers, the way it will look like. But that will not say because of me, then I will not stand for what is right. At this moment in Nigeria, doing same religion ticket is a no-no and should never be entertained in any way whatsoever.
Madam Aisha.
But let me just also add something. I had someone who said to me the other day, as a Muslim, I don't know about devout Muslim, I just try to do the little things that I can do, the ones I can do. I wear hijab because for me, that's what my religion recommends for me, and I accept it, and I do it. And I also do not shake men or hug men who are not certain, category, like my husband, my father.
Except your husband.
Yeah, my husband, my
your
father,
brother,
my brother, not even my cousin.
Son.
Yes, my son-in-law, if I have one.
And not even your friend like me.
No, that's why, have you forgotten we were doing e-hugs when I came in,
That I will not forgive you for.
So I always apologize to people. I say it's not that I'm trying. It's my religious. Although there are some people who have said, but some other people who are Muslims, they don't care. They shake. I say, well, everybody do the part that I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I just do the little part that I can. And someone said to me, now that you are in the party, you cannot say you are not shaking men. And ironically, this kind of logo of our party is actually handshake. So I'm like, okay, for the one I'll do like this. For the woman, I can do like this. If it's a man, I'll do like this.
So you shake a woman?
Yeah, I shake women.
You hug women?
I hug women. I'm actually a hugger. I hug with my heart. I love to hug, but unfortunately, I don't do that with men. Although it's almost like, somebody's bringing, especially when it's an elderly person, like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm bending that to say, I'm sorry for religious reasons. I can't, I can't do this. And someone was saying to me, oh, now that you're in the party, you have to remove that, you have to forget that, you have to be shaking people. I'm like, no, I'm not going to change of myself, because I also want to be respected. And I hope that, and I see, the thing I love also about ADC, it's how inclusion is being, something that's really talked about, something that is welcome. And you see even with the youth leader, because they always complain that when they're doing youth leader, it's always man. So they're now having the youth leader, you have a female youth leader, you have a male youth leader. And so the ADC wants to include everyone, that even if you're hijab wearing, even if you don't hug, you don't shake, you can also be part of this party, and you don't have to, go on to say you have to shake people.
I'd like us to anchor on this note. There is a notion that in the core north, Peter Obi cannot command significant votes.
How they say, dead dear. Oh, they say when they used to put it in picture, I can't even remember. Like, make them dead dear, let them be dreaming. That's a fallacy. That's what they want to believe, but it's not like that at all. And if you see some of the clips on the road, so they say action speaks louder than words, right? And the way you make people feel, it's a whole lot more than even the words that you gave out. And Mr. Peter Obi has been able to do that. And a lot of, I don't know if you've noticed, there's a shift that is happening in the core north where there are a lot of young people who are angry. Remember, we have social media. Social media has democratized media. And a lot of young Nigerians from the north and from the core north, I was born and brought up in the core north. And I grew up in the core north. And I grew up in the ghetto of the north. The north that I know, a lot of the northerners who are elite, they don't know that north because there's
the Talakawas.
The Talakawas. I grew up among the Talakawas. I was one of the Talakawas. Like I said to people, "Hi, what Kanu, Girman Kanu, Hausa Kamar Jakar Kanu." I am a northerner. I speak like a northerner. I speak like a Hausa. I was born and brought up there. I left there, I think at the age of 25, was it 26? After my marriage and I had my son. That was when I left Kano, primary, secondary, university, all in Kano. I did a bit of outside places I came back, so I know what I'm talking about. And you see a situation whereby a lot of them have access to social media. A lot of them are getting to know that enlightenment. Even though in terms of education, there are some leaders have deliberately kept people that not to get education, but there's a social media that is educating, the people. And so a good number of them see what is out there. And now they are angry, especially with the Muslim ticket. The Muslim ticket, and I don't know if you see a lot of Malams who are now talking about it, against it. The same people who were talking about it. I was told that I wasn't a Muslim because I said I was not supporting a Muslim ticket because I said that's injustice. Islam does not support injustice. Islam is always about what is just in every way whatsoever. You can't have the same people, almost 50 of different this, and you say you're going to choose one side of it. And so there are more Malams who are speaking against the, Muslim ticket. A lot of young people are saying that they were deceived and not again. During the end bad governance, protest, there was a situation whereby some Malams in the mosque during Friday were almost lynched when they started talking about that people should not go and protest. So there's a silent revolution that is building up. And I can tell you something. One thing that people don't really understand, in the north, the people have more control over the leaders, even though it doesn't look that way, than the other way around. Let me explain to you. So because they know that if there's a revolution to ever happen in this country, real revolution that everybody is saying, you'll be shooting people, some are falling and people are stepping over and going, it will be in the corner. It will be in that corner. And so the leaders are very aware of that. That's why in everything that they do, they always tilt to what is the thinking of the people, because they know if they break out. The main thing is that, Islam being used as respect your elder, respect your parents being done. And for the first time, I could see where they're saying they're going to lynch a Malam and Friday morning. That they had to take some of those Malams away. That tells you a lot. There's a shift. And they're saying now that they were deceived before, they're not going to agree. And those whole talk about saying, Mr. Peter Obi is an Igbo man, is this, they're saying, no, they're not listening to that anymore. They have seen that competence. They have seen the compassion. They have seen the way he speaks. They have seen the way he has taken on issues. They have seen the way that he has been out there right from day one. I can tell you that Mr. Peter Obi, I think he just took literally less than 96 hours rest from the announcement of the 2023 election to when he started on doing what he's doing. Between that time and when he did the press conference, and from there he has continued all over the country, listening, meeting with people, getting to see people. And leadership is not being standoffish. Leadership is about you being with your people seeing you, your people being able to have conversations with you and bring your problems to you. I remember there was a meeting that we had with some people, with some leaders from the northern part of Nigeria, and one of them was talking about I think, was it Adama or something, about their environment, how snakes They have their own epidemics of snakes, snakes bite. People can't afford it. What's it called now? The antivenom to take care of snakes bites and all of that. He has all of this conversation. And Mr. Peter Obi is one person, and which, even though a lot of people, the propaganda machines that were used against him were so loud, but how loud can it be when the reality is really hitting at you? And so they have seen where Peter Obi will tell you, every state in Nigeria, he will tell you this is what can come out of this state, and especially with the northern part of the country. And even in last election, most of his conversation was that on every part, how it can be used to be built. And he kept saying that the oil is not where Nigerians' riches are, it's in the vast land of the north, and how to help develop it. And somehow the words have trickled in, and people are hearing, and the propaganda machine has failed, because you can't do propaganda when people are feeling hunger.
Thank you so much. But I'd like you to look into the camera and talk to those who feel they didn't get the kind of result they were hoping to get in 2023. And so they don't care. What do you tell these people as to the future of this country and the 2027 election? Those who have given up and say, the election didn't go my way, I voted in this pattern, but it never went my way. What would you be telling them, the young people of this country?
For the young people of this country, and also the elderly, for everyone, I just want to remind us of one saying, that yesterday died last night, and that we cannot carry the momentum of the past into the present. Otherwise, it's going to affect our future. I know all of us were pained at what happened in 2023. There are people who were in their 70s, and that was their first time of voting, and I feel your pain. We did everything that we could have done. We trusted the system. We stayed on. And yet, the election was rigged. It's painful. But guess what? The result at the end of the day is not in our control. The effort is in our control. And when we put in the effort in 2023, you saw we got a win, even when they said we wouldn't. And everybody knows we got that win. So as we go into 2027, let us not also focus on the result. Let's focus on our effort for now. And if you give up and say you're not going to take part in the 2027 election, what would have been done? What would happen is that you would have self-defeat yourself. We will all self-defeat ourselves. And the people who rigged before will not have no need to rig. And then they would be able to legitimately say that they won the election. Because if we stay away from the election, their people, no matter how few they are going to come out and they're going to vote. And you know the way election is in Nigeria. It's never about a critical number. It's about whatever is the first past the post, and whatever number it is, and it is won, and that's it. So what I'm going to say to you is that think about Nigeria. And right now I'm speaking directly to the young people. How old are you? And how long do you want to live in Nigeria? If you're 20 now and you want to live to say 90 years, you have another 70 years. Would you want Nigeria to be dealing with you, or you always on the run looking for where to go to? If you're 30, the same way, you have 60 more years to go. Do the maths. And so therefore,
it's really so pathetic what is currently happening in the country. And like you can see, Aisha Yesufu is calling Nigerians to stand up, So you can see what is happening in Nigeria today. I was shocked to see that the Tinubu's government is already started collecting taxes for last year. They told us that they are going to start implementing it this year, meaning that money that people earn this year should be what they should declare by next year. Now they are already telling Nigerians to go and start declaring their taxes from now till March. And guess what? If you don't declare, they are coming to your bank account. They are going to deduct the money by fire, by force. So guys, Nigerians must stand up or brace up for what is about to happen. I mean, what is about to happen is going to shock you. The Tinubu's government is saying all the money you earned last year, you should be ready to start paying the tax now. Tell me what they want to do with the taxes. Many people have wondered why is Tinubu collecting all this money from Nigerians. I mean, what is he doing with all this money when there's no security? Recently, a lady lost her life because there was no antivenom to attend to her after she was bitten by snake. And now the Tinubu's government is saying you have to start paying the taxes that they Tinubu just want to reap where he did not sow. This will be the end. Sure, let me not even say before they start looking for who they want to arrest. But see, the way Tinubu is going now, he may feel nobody can challenge him, but I think he's going to step on toes this time. I mean, the Tinubu's government is definitely going to step seriously on the toes of Nigerians, because guess what? Who is ready to take all this from the Tinubu's government? Just ask me. Who is ready to take all this trash from them? They impoverish the people. They make life so miserable. They don't care about their actions and whatever they are doing. And now they just want to make sure that Nigerians mourn. I mean real mourning. Because tell me what will happen if people refuse to pay this money. They will just go into their bank account to withdraw. That is the strategy they want to use. And Nigerians are not ready for all this. So guys, this is what we are saying about this government. They don't care. They don't care about the people. It's just about themselves. It's not about Nigerians. It's about themselves. And that is why we all must rise up to say enough of all this bullshit that we are seeing under the Tinubu's government. Nigerian people have had enough. It is time to ask this politician, no matter the strategy they want to use in the next election, Nigerians must say enough is enough. So guys, let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification for more. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Naija Voice TV. Stay tuned for latest updates.